There are moments in life when we feel like we have nothing left, when the weight of our burdens crushes us, and we wonder if God even sees our pain. This is where we find the widow in 2 Kings 4, a mother at her breaking point. Her husband was gone, her debts were overwhelming, and the worst part? The creditors were coming for her two sons. Can you imagine the fear, the helplessness, the thought of losing your children, knowing you have no way to save them? In desperation, she ran to the prophet Elisha. "Please help me, I have nothing left," she cried. But Elisha looked at her and asked a strange question. "What do you have in your house?" Her heart must have sunk. What do I have? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then she hesitated, except a small jar of oil, a tiny insignificant jar. Not enough for a meal, not enough to sell, just a reminder of how empty her life had become. But Elisha smiled. He saw something she didn't. He saw what God could do with the little she had. "Go, borrow as many empty jars as you can, not just a few, gather them all." She didn't understand, but she obeyed. She and her sons knocked on doors asking for jars. Some neighbors gave freely, others questioned why she needed them. But she gathered them all. Then in the privacy of her home, with trembling hands, she lifted her tiny jar of oil and poured, and the oil flowed, jar after jar, vessel after vessel. It didn't stop. What should have been just a few drops became an endless stream. "Bring me another," she cried. "There are no more," her son whispered, and only then did the oil stop. She ran back to Elisha, breathless with awe. "Go, sell the oil, pay your debts, and live on the rest," he said. Her story began with lack, but it ended in abundance. Her sons were saved, her future was restored, all because she took the little she had and placed it in God's hands. What do you have? Maybe today you feel like the widow, empty, afraid, holding on to nothing but a small remnant of hope. But God is asking you the same question. What do you have? Maybe it's just a little faith. Maybe it's just a broken prayer. Maybe it's just the strength to take one more step. But in the hands of God, a little is more than enough. The oil never stopped until there were no more jars left. What if your miracle is already flowing, but you just haven't made room for it? God is ready to fill the empty places in your life. Make space. Open your hands. Trust Him. Because when you bring what little you have, the oil will never stop flowing.